Were you?
Yeah, my father
Mark, can I make Jessie a
Also,
board
the
member?
floors are tall.
Sure.
I think she's as
They're
bright
10
as some
feet.
people I know.
Instead of 8, so
Yeah,
that makes
maybe
it.
Are voting or no?
I didn't know it was 14, I thought it was going to be
No,
8 and 2
10.
parking.
10.
It's 10 and 4 parking?
They also have thicker slab. I've been looking at them pouring. Their slab seems to be thicker between the floors and many.
How do you know how thick ours is?
Huh?
You don't know how thick ours is, do you?
No, I don't know, but I look at that, no, it's just that looking at them building, I always stop and look. I looked at the other building going up and their slab seems a little thicker than the other building. No, it's just, I think it's getting
Oh, we're working.
Up to now, there is no floors here, that's all.
That's just parking, huh?
But the last one that was passed wasn't, nearer to me, it wasn't, no. I
The
don't-
last one that was cast has the pool. Go up to the top and you can look
Yeah, but there were
down.
also apartments in it because I looked at the sewage and everything going in and the electrical, I was looking at them putting it in, the sewage and electrical and
Maybe
everything.
on that.
Yeah.
I just started working. How are you? Good, good. Haven't seen you forever. Yeah, the kids will be here tomorrow. Yeah. Oh.
And we're missing some, so
Thank
I
you,
think
Steve.
this is a good thing, you know?
So I make it for
No, we don't have quorum, Mark.
What do you mean?
Call one of your friends and tell them
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
on a speaker.
Drew said he'll do it, we don't have to vote for it.
Call it, call it.
Except for the minutes.
Yeah, Dawn's
But-
off.
But Drew said he will get on the phone.
We understand, but it's not here, so.
Let me find out. Hold on,
Yeah.
call her.
And I was just telling him to send somebody up to you.
Made it back, he had it fixed with his computer, he messed up the smile, he couldn't order today, so he messed up his smile thing when I was on. So I had to stop in and fix it, he messed up both of them, so he couldn't get on.
Oh, here comes Nick, we good, we good.
Oh, never mind. We have Nick. So we need a quorum.
You say never mind, we have Nick guys say hooray.
He just walked in. No, I think we're good now. Yeah, we're
So
good.
say, Mom.
See you later.
I enjoy it.
That's of course. Why would we not know that with 14 notices later?
But it can.
Yes, of course.
What are you?
So you have to go.
Good.
How far back you have to be to see through, look through the description.
On my back to
Mark,
you.
how was it? We got the video cameras?
Yeah, we're
All the
all
blue
set.
light or anything?
We're all set.
If you guys want more comfortable chairs.
You want these numbers?
Yes.
That's-
Do you have a, you want a copy of it too?
No. I mean, do I need it? No, just go over them, yeah.
So few.
Alright, so, just go ahead and call this meeting to order.
Unless I sit over there, make it easy.
Present, we have Mark, Anne Marie, Andre, Nick.
All right, ready?
Everybody's afraid of you.
Put cable boxes sometimes or something like that.
Wait on it when you get it ready.
They used to have a big box there.
We should have.
Yeah, but I'm not going, but this is the best one of all of them.
Just to think.
You don't scroll. Yes, it is.
Oh, you have it recorded?
That's very good. How are you saying? How are you?
Yes.
Yours?
Alright, let's call the meeting to order at
My little one?
6:04.
He just doesn't walk anymore.
Okay.
All right, 6:04. 17 and a half.
Or go ahead and call the roll.
Yeah. Joe's present. Mark, comments?
Anne Marie of Joy.
Andre.
Hello.
Nick Trillo. Okay, quorum.
So, I sent you guys two different minutes. You guys take a look at them, and did you guys approve? Is there anything that needs to be changed?
I read them all, fine.
All of them?
Yeah.
All right. So, there a motion? Second?
Motion to approve. Me.
Andre, second.
Would you like me to go over a couple of things before I get into the hurricane thing?
So,
So before we get into what you guys are all here to listen to, let me just go over a couple of things that we did last week and what we're planning on doing in the coming months. And you guys are, if you guys saw, we got the gas lines that were replaced. Those gas lines were in pretty bad shape. They were about to not be accessible. If there was anything, we weren't going to be able to open the gas line. So we got those replaced. That was kind of almost a year and a half of chasing the city around to get that done. We cleaned the drains in the garage because they were beginning to flood when there was a heavy rain. I think they are doing better. I don't think it's flooded since, at least not too much, and we've had a lot of rain. The roof, they're going to be finishing the little roof on the side of the building by the end of this week. And then they're going to do the last of the roof, which will take about 2 more weeks after that. So within 3 weeks, it's not going to be that loud anymore. They're just laying things down now. They should not be doing any more demolition. I know, I'm sure it was pretty loud. I'm sure it was. Especially way up there, yeah.
It's not great.
But I don't think there should be any more noise. They're just going to be laying down the last couple of layers. And that should be done about 2 weeks from now. And then we'll be done with the roof completely. Then we're going to have companies, there's going to be a painter that's going to paint the entire 17th floor for the mess that they made. We're going to have, they already approved a carpet cleaning company to clean out the entire carpet in the 17th floor. And they're going to paint all the way down. And every mess that they made, they're going to clean up, okay, at their own expense. Another thing, we are negotiating our contract with Waste Management because Castle Group provided someone that went over the contract with me, and there was a lot of fees that we don't really need to be paying. And we don't know those things. They do. So I had them come in last week, negotiated a few things, and we should be able to lower that down for the year by significantly. We are installing an automatic chemical distributor in the pool this Friday, which is going to prolong the life expenditure of all the components of the pool. We installed the 2 new bollards that fell off. The other 2 next to it are probably in the same horrible shape, which means they're going to come down soon. So bollard are the post behind the building that
I
protect.
know it, I know.
We're probably going to, I'd suggest we replace the other 2. We're going to do that, we probably will.
Okay.
And then we have a meeting, which we're gonna talk about later, but we're meeting next Tuesday with a short list of the contractors that are bidding on.
Thursday.
No, we changed it into next Tuesday. We changed it to next Tuesday.
Hold
We changed
on,
it to next Tuesday.
remember.
Yeah, we said it in the
Remember.
update that we're gonna
Oh,
do it
yes,
this
Nick,
Thursday,
we
but
did,
it was not
we
gonna
did,
be
yeah,
here,
had
so
to
we-
change.
I'm sorry, Andre, I was gonna catch up, but we had to change it to next Tuesday.
Oh, Andre, so.
But we're meeting with 3 different contractors that are bidding on the concrete restoration, window repairs, and balcony railings. We're gonna meet with them, we're gonna go change a couple of things. The speculations that were sent out and the prices that we have were based on what we sent out to the insurance company. But we're gonna, talk to them and figure out exactly what we really need, so we don't overspend the money that we have.
The specs for everything was for all the damages, he took those numbers that we gave, that Mr. Roselli and our crew gave to the insurance company. That's what we want the damages for, so that's all encompassing, and that's what we gave to them to go give us a bid.
But in reality, we believe
In
that
reality,
more work
Now
than
we
really
bid
needs
on
to be
what
done.
we need.
And then we also approved, and we're gonna be having some work done on the stairwell exit doors in the south side of the building, where the landing is not sloped, so it's actually sloped inward, so it creates more water damage. The job's gonna entail sloping it outwards, waterproofing it, changing the threshold of the door, and kind of just making that the way it should have been, outward and waterproofed and with a new threshold on it. So that
Yeah, it wasn't
should,
built
that work
like
should
that.
be getting done about a week and a half. Yeah, they were in bad shape.
Been that way for
So that started
20
soon,
years.
we can have this?
Yeah, about a week and a half. He told me about 2 weeks when we approved
He
it,
did
so.
say 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So about a week and a half, I'll follow up and then let you guys
Are they-
know on the report.
Grinding or are they adding cement?
Adding, I believe.
They're
Adding
adding.
to slope it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're also gonna cut 2 trenches in each one that are gonna run out to the
Oh,
edge of
good.
the eyebrow to go down, not scuppers, not fully through the slab.
Yeah, if you cut-
Structurally, just on the top, so
Yeah,
yeah.
that'll work.
It'll pitch and you'll get 2 runoffs, yeah, should be good.
All right, so that's what I got for you guys.
Obviously, the fly situation down there is gone.
It's better, it's definitely better. It's like a battle, we're like a war with them. You
I had them
know?
in my house.
We have to get them, yeah, we have to kill them faster than they reproduce.
Because
That's
they
basically
ride
what
in
we
the
are.
elevator, so that's why the lights were outside the elevator to zap them.
And we
It's
fixed what we
free.
believe was costing.
Yeah, it works.
We fixed what we believe was
Could you
costing.
please
Those
explain
two
how
leaks.
that was? Could you explain what you found in that wall? I would love for the people here to
I
understand what the
just-
work behind the wall.
Well, there's two things that
is.
there
I'm
was.
surprised you didn't have people living.
No,
there.
you need
It's
to.
been so bad.
The
for so
elevator,
long.
We've since kicked them.
outside of the exit elevator, on the roof, like above the drop-down ceiling, there was a piece of plywood that was tied together in an angle so that the water dripping from the condensing water would drip down into the plywood and on the side of the wall down to the bottom of the garage. So that was creating a puddle of water there, but nobody knew it was there until one time we looked into the ceiling and found it. So we're actually redoing that the way it should be done, right? Into a drain and out to the drain. By that, we fixed that, and then there was another leak from the fire pipes down by the trash room that we don't know exactly because we were behind the trash chute. We don't know how long it was leaking for, so that created water too. So we fixed those two problems, and that's why I think we see less flies now, because we've been killing them a lot, and hopefully we'll get rid of them soon, once and for all.
Question, Mario.
Yes.
Why do you put little slab on the doors there, the exit doors, rather than making it pitch? Because that's a lot more expensive and accomplished doctor.
Because the engineer is doing it.
Well, engineer doesn't
Well,
enough.
What do you mean though?
What, I don't,
Instead
what,
of
Upgrades.
making a pitch, which is not gonna last too much because the pitch has to end to zero in the end unless you raise it too much, then you have problem opening the door. So
No,
if you
we-
just put inside the doors concrete with 1 inch high to prevent the water from getting inside.
But the water will still sit.
It sits in a
It
puddle.
will sit in a puddle on.
and I'm also
How long
sure the
does
city
the
would
water
think that
compare
that's,
gonna cost?
I'm sure the city would see that as a
Yeah.
trip, a code issue, I'm sure. Because from entry not that it's an ADA issue, but I would think the city, because we talked about, Ann and I and Mario, talked about that last year, initially before we put the doors in, the hurricane doors. And, it didn't seem
What,
like
you
it was
mean to
gonna
put
fly.
something across? You can't. They said we can't.
To raise, right, to
No.
raise that
What
height,
the
right.
engineer is doing is exactly to code what they said we can do. That's the reason
No,
why
I
we went.
understand that, but if the door opens outside, that means how much he has to raise the concrete in order to give a pitch outside.
Not too much, they just don't want it.
Yeah, they'll be
So
able
that's
to
the
figure it
All
out.
we need is
That's
gravity
the
to be on our
cracks
side,
to
that's
both
all we have
sides
to do.
cracks,
Oh, well,
you know.
well,
I
maybe
think they
something.
they have it figured out. That's what we hire the engineers, because they know what they're doing.
And if
Don't
that's-
allow me to do it.
If they do,
We'll
they
let the
will make the
engineers
pitch
figure
the
that out.
right way to begin with, so obviously they didn't know.
Well, to begin
Well,
with.
different engineers 30 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
That's why we're doing it, yeah.
Anyway, flies, can I add something? Okay, the little dog toilet thing there. On the weekend, it never gets.
The bag, the bag?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
hanging on where the deals come. Okay, it doesn't get emptied out over the weekend, or I don't know how often, but it has the big green flies, those really awful sewer flies. And if people would just, maybe you can put it in your newsletter, if they put the dog bags in the city thing, it gets emptied out every few
Erica,
hours.
it's not gonna happen.
We can do it though.
you
We
can
can do it.
just do
But
it.
it's
Yeah,
not
people
our,
do
I
it,
sit
people
on
do
my
it.
balcony and I look.
Yeah,
It's everybody on the street, and I'm glad for that.
Yeah.
Uses the bags and puts their poop in there. Before, I used to be walking through a sea of, excuse my language, SH. Now I don't. So I'm glad to provide the bags, and I don't think the people who
but
steal our bags
can we
are
move
going
the
to.
basket to the, up to the other end, so they cannot put the dog poop in there?
Well, the thing is, it's convenience when people walk into the.
I think
No.
what I would like is a member of the general public to go and petition the city in Trentalis and ask him if we could get poopy bags all over this whole city, and then it would stop our bin from being so full.
Because, the flies on the weekend are so awful. There's those
Just
green
to clarify,
flies
you're
that-
talking about people throwing their
You're talking about
garbage
the
bag
garbage
in
in
our
that-
trash
in
can,
our little
right in front of the
trash.
door.
No,
And
the
that's-
dog.
Oh, you're
The
talking about
dog-
the, you're talking about the
the
pole,
dog poop.
the one in the
And-
pole?
Yeah.
It's so far away.
And where do you suggest they throw them out?
In the city one, on the end of our.
Oh,
street.
oh.
That one gets emptied
Got it,
out
got it, got
every
it.
few hours.
I
You
can,
know.
I can suggest it.
Yeah.
But you know,
Because
some people are gonna do it,
Starbucks might have
some
something to say
people
about that,
won't.
but-
But like I suggested, I'll
The
definitely put it
flies
on
are
the
those
list.
big green, sewer
Because
flies.
it's
Yeah, yeah.
so
The big green ones
who
usually see
gets
the
flies
fish.
on the weekend, because nobody
Yeah.
empties it every day, but I mean, what
Right,
can you do,
and
it's
it's,
better than the dog
it
food
smells
that's
really
around.
bad too when you walk by there on the weekend, and you know, we have no maintenance people to clean
Maybe
it
what
up.
about, could it be moved to the west corner of the sidewalk? I mean, that would at least get it further away from the
You
building.
mean across by, on the.
Just going west, just
Okay,
to the
you
end
know
of our
what will
sidewalk.
happen? No.
The corner of the
The
parking lot.
animal that lives behind,
No, I think
who
he's talking about
puts his
just,
trash cans
just
in
on the
front
other
of our
side.
property,
Oh,
if
just on
we
the other side
put
of the
that there,
driveway.
we'll get
So
into
they have
one
to do
fight
something
with him, and I'm
different.
I don't know if
not
that makes a
in
difference.
this,
That's
it's
part
not
of the
anyway.
effort.
Why not put a bit of parking lot there, if everybody uses it?
Because
Because then nobody's gonna use it.
Nobody's gonna use it.
Then no one's
Everybody
gonna use
walks
it,
their
it's gonna be
dogs.
dog.
Fine line.
Yeah, it is.
Don't make it too
Right.
inconvenient.
Look, it's there.
It's not gonna be a win, it's gonna be
The
a.
truth is, before it was
Yeah.
you were walking in dog food.
Mhm.
Now at least it's in a bin with some flies near it, you, I much prefer that,
Well, some of the people do that, some of the people still don't do it.
yeah.
Right, yeah, and it's gonna, if you remove it, it's gonna get worse, and if you don't remove it, I mean, if you ask people to
But
put it
we
over,
can ask them to
no.
put
But
it
yeah, I
in.
mean, maybe, you know, a few of them might, and it'll work. All right, do you wanna go ahead and start talking about the?
I think you should do it.
Hurricane? Yeah. I would love to, they wanna hear your voice.
All right, so the whole claim, originally it started out, I think we put in for 13 million. the claim.
It went up to 30.
It went up to 13.
Little bit.
All said and done, elevators, I mean, we had everything in there. It came out to 7.2. So that was that's what it came out, 7.2, that was the claim. There's $1 million deductible, so that makes it 6.2. Attorney fees, various expenses with the water mitigation, which that stuff is ridiculously expensive. The asbestos surveys, all the window testing that we had to do, because we had to do it for the insurance company to prove that the windows were damaged. Actually, another company that did the removal of the asbestos, because we found it in the wall in certain units, when we did the window testing. It had to be done a certain way, so we had to get a special asbestos abatement company to come in.
Mitigation.
That stuff's not cheap. What else? The lab that tested the asbestos and the mold. I think it tested mold. We had mold stuff too. So without going through all of it, that's really the big ones. It came out to, what was our final number? I know what the last check was, right. So 3.6 was the final check that we got, 3.6 million. That's net, so that's with paying the
How much was
attorneys,
paid to
paying all
those
the
people? How much
expenses.
to attorneys, how much give her a breakdown? Who got what?
Well, there's a list if you want to see it. It's all the vendors. You know what the percentage was. I
You
mean,
get a
that's
copy
that.
of this
It's
so you can look there.
reasonable percentage that
Bottom
the
line's
attorney made.
3.6.
3.6. Now, but wait, with 3.6 minus what we had to get everything done, look, you know, we had no assessments during this whole time. So we did a little borrow Peter to pay Paul, the down payment for getting our water restoration, water mitigation company in here to do their thing, paying everything back. We did have a line of credit. That's how the roof is getting done. So paying everything back, it looks like that we will have net going forward about 2,750.
Plus a new roof.
Yeah.
And the new
Yeah,
roof is paid.
Correct,
for.
the roof is done.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
That's right. So then we're debt-free,
How much was the roof?
operation, 360,
360 grand?
including the dog, little park, that little roof, and the big roof, obviously.
So basically, we spent $3 million for nothing, just for the bureaucratic
We
work.
didn't, no, we didn't.
From 6.2
more.
to 3.2.
For, yeah.
For months of mitigation
Little less than- yeah,
companies that were in here doing.
For what the
What's
insurance
the mitigate
company,
of the whole
okay,
deal?
you say
Yeah,
for
do
nothing,
something.
but that's for
Attorney
what the
fees.
insurance company asked for. Had we not done it, they were not gonna pay us the money. So,
Yeah, what did they want to
I
offer us
understand,
before we
but millions
litigate?
of dollars.
Sight
for that.
unseen, and I really, this is because we had the consultant and the
Right.
attorney involved. Sight unseen, they looked at the building and they gave us a check for 1.7. Sight, anything, they just looked at the building, okay, 1.7, which really was 2.7 because
So we
they're not
have-
responsible for our deductible, that's us.
So we netted 4 if you count the roof.
No, we didn't.
Well,
Because-
however you want to do it, that roof was part of this money.
Yeah,
We
so-
we used it before we got it.
3.6 and we paid.
Yeah,
So
for
we
sure,
paid
another
$4
$360,000, right?
So how much were the lawyer fees alone?
You know the percentage we discussed, so it's that
How
percentage
we
of
took
the
it, did it
7.2,
take from the
of
gross or
6.2,
it took from
sorry.
a net? Did it take from everybody's?
You could do the count, look, we're streaming, so he doesn't want people to know his fees if people are listening.
You
We
can-
negotiated good fees with him, but you can do
And
the
he
calculation.
actually took less percentage than any other lawyer takes. I mean, he looked at us and
Right.
said, I can't believe that I've gone
Much than any
down.
other liability claim that lawyer would take, substantially less than that.
He took much less.
You know the
and-
thing, we discussed this.
No, I know.
But it's based off of
Depends
6.2, so
how
he gets it up to
takes
gross.
you know?
And then we give everyone their expenses, we
Did it
pay
take
for
a
everything.
$6.3
and-
million, or did it take for a 3.7, 2.7?
No, he, much less. No, he
Huh?
not that much,
He didn't take it on the deductible, right?
No.
no. No. He gets it on the claim.
Go ahead.
He remembers.
Jim.
One
Jim
thing
is
that Bob
asking.
remembers the claim.
Mark,
What?
Jim is asking.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're not proposing any new
I can't hear you.
You're
sorry.
not proposing any new special assessments.
All right, so we're gonna get to that. So this was the big number that everyone wanted to know. We've got the last check, because they gave us
Okay.
the 1,700,000. They gave us one other check for 43 early on for some technicality that they didn't want to get caught up in, so they gave that. And then this last check, which is minus all our expenses and the attorney fees, 3.5.
So you
Positive
don't-
that, paying back our reserves, replenishing our budget, and now we'll have about 2.75 left over.
Did the
Now we're going
line of
forward.
credit all be paid off?
Yes. I don't know if it's paid off yet, but we're getting the
done,
final.
but it's going to get.
Yeah, yeah, it's- we
carpet-
crested the final-
carpet and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're not paying any more interest on that, which was interest only on that. we were paying.
Are we receiving a copy of that?
And
Are we receiving a copy of that?
A copy of this?
Yeah.
if you want, you can.
Yeah, if you want, just
Just
email me
ask
and I'll
them.
send it to you, of course.
You're just gonna see a lot of vendors, not even that many,
So,
really, 10,
you
12,
said-
13.
Yes, 2 pages.
The line of credit was interest only on the carpet?
For the first year or year and a half.
But did we pay the carpet, did we pay the hallways?
Yes.
This
They were paid
extra
under the line of
275, we are debt free.
And
Everything that we have is we
got the
have.
carpeting done too?
That's all part of it.
It's all
Remember, we were
renovations.
moving money
Carpet,
around to try
yeah.
not to have an assessment.
Luggage,
Carpet, walls.
everything is paid off to date, roof, carpet, everybody. and we
Fixtures,
have
right.
This
Chairs,
We
You
still
know,
have to
like,
do
I still-
right, but they're paid for.
So we have to, now we're gonna do the exterior of the building.
concrete, windows.
All right, so then we can go into what we're doing now with, so yeah.
So how much is left?
How-
2.75.
275.
Is that much left?
Yes.
That much?
Okay,
It
so
would
can
Not
we-
terrible,
can we-
not terrible, we never would have did that on.
Can you finish talking and then questions?
Yeah, let's
Pretty lady in the
Well,
front
I
to
mean,
acknowledge.
Thank you for the privilege.
Yeah.
So what I can see here is that they originally offered 1.7 millions, right?
Technically
And then-
2.7, because they were paying, they
No.
gave us 1.7, we had $1 million
No, but what I'm
deductible. So they
saying
figured
is
2.7 worth of damage,
minus-
good.
So 3.6 that we are getting now, right? Free
Is
and
nice.
clear. I'm saying sort of free and clear. I like math, so
see that.
what we are saying is
Over
that-
100%
So.
for 2 years of time.
The original offer is, it's much more after we hire the attorneys and we did all the
Double the
deed.
amount
Correct.
Let me clarify, so we make around more than 1.6 millions if we haven't hired someone to do,
We would
whatever
have
doing.
Correct.
lost out
Correct?
on our
I'm
claim.
just, based on these numbers, so it's good, the way I
It's
see
worth
it.
it.
With your calculations,
No,
you're
no, but
correct.
what I'm doing is, thinking and then what
You-
is next?
And obviously, these insurance companies do this because they don't want everyone to go through 2 years of what we went through.
And not only that, we would have paid $360 for a new roof. Now we have a new
It would have been
roof for
assessments all over the
Another
place.
what, 20 years, and the roof is good.
Right, now we're good for 15.
20 years.
20, yeah.
20 years. 20.
Good job.
No, it's 20, the warranty's 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so now going forward, we're like, okay, this money, it's nice to say we have 2.75, but it goes real fast. So before this whole hurricane thing, we would have been well into the 40-year certification with the building, the concrete. When we had all the bids in and everything, and then we got knocked with this thing. So now we started this up again. Like you probably read in the update, we got 3 contractors now that, to reiterate, went off our $13 million claim. That's what they're gonna bid on to replace and repair and all that. Obviously, that's all encompassing. We're gonna dial it back now a little bit, because now, you know, we gotta make it work for us. So, we got, Windows is a big up in the air one. We're looking at, the board talking amongst ourselves and with Mario, is that, all right, we're not gonna replace every single window and every single sliding door. Yes, that was in the claim, and that's accurate. But since we claim, well, the insurance is giving what they're giving us, we gotta work with that number. So we definitely gotta replace or repair, and repair anyone that got water damage. So that was basically half the building, for what I remember from the reports. Then we got all concrete restoration. They're saying the garage has a lot of damage in there. That's what Saeed, our engineer, keeps saying, because that's the big part of it. And then they're gonna go around the building and they're gonna, with the balconies, they gotta rip up whoever has tile. That's part of that. This is something we discussed 2 years ago. And they go with a hammer and see what's hollow, and they dig it out. Whatever they do with the rebar, cover it up. They're going to seal it, make it flat, because that was a concern. There's, you know, obviously it's all bumpy from taking up tiles, that we don't want to waterproof over this. So it's going to be all smooth. They waterproof it, and that's how it stays.
But they're gonna put a finish. They're gonna put a nuts.
It'll last. I mean, all these engineers are like, it'll last forever that way.
I know when you were going out there.
No carpet, no plants, nothing.
It'll be,
So
if
that
you've
you do
ever,
not
if you've ever been on the
damage that.
exterior balconies of the W, it's gonna be the exact same finish that they have.
Yeah, it's a textured, non-slip finish,
Right.
but it's all
No
waterproof.
plants?
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
no plants.
Well, I
No
think,
plans.
No.
let's
You
wait
can
on
say
that.
whatever you
It's-
want.
That's
It's
a whole
actually in
nother
our
que-
rules right now, and what is happening, and this happens on a daily
Look, that's a-
basis. Everybody inside of here that has plants, it's all well and good. But when you hire a helper or a maid or whatever it is you hire, and she waters those plants and the water goes down to the one below, you're destroying our balconies and our structure, and dirtying the paint and destroying the building. Is it that important to have a plant?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, so,
but
but
look.
it's breaking the
Why would
rules,
the
right
water
now
destroy
rules say you
the,
can't have.
why would the,
You're
why would the
saying
water
that
destroy the
water in the plants
landing?
is destroying the concrete?
What happens?
Water in the rain?
No,
It doesn't make
listen,
sense.
listen, because when you water, if you're on my balcony, when somebody's watering upstairs and that brown water goes down the side and stains the building and stains the concrete, yes, it does. You don't
Or
see
it's
it.
Stain or
Staining.
This is the same
Yeah,
reason.
It's a whole
Also,
side, it's like a whole, it's a whole side issue, let's just.
That's a, yeah, that's a side
Really,
issue, but it's
it's
not,
not
I
a,
think it's
you
in the
know,
rules. It's a certain height that we have something in the rules. But with rules, there's a 50% plus one.
But the roots stay moist too.
The problem.
Well, the thing is, you gotta have,
plants.
if you're gonna have plants, you gotta have
When
a
the
pot,
water
not everyone does.
comes through a plant,
I
they
think,
don't-
I think the rule is that you just have to have a plate
A lot of
underneath it
people
that catches
don't
water.
have it,
That's
so
it.
we're just gonna have to police them.
And the problem is, if the
Okay,
water
you
gets
gotta adjust that right now.
trapped between the pot, when it rains, it doesn't get between the pot and the concrete. That's the problem, is when the water goes between the pot.
Yeah,
and
it's the
concrete
tile, that's the
and
problem.
sits
They hold-
there, That's the problem.
Yeah, the
It's
problem is
houses for
the
water,
problem
that's
is the
a-
carpet, those are the
So when it
problems.
rains, it's not getting trapped. It's when the water goes through and it gets trapped.
That's exactly
between
it.
the
You
pot
don't wanna trap
and the
it.
concrete.
Right.
You start
That's why
building
we're
rebar,
ripping all the
and then you
tile
go
off
for
and
big
waterproofing,
expensive
right.
then.
All right, so
Anyway.
But
that's, all right, so yeah, side issue, but that's why we're gonna do that, so no more tile. It's unfortunate for those that have tiles and, right.
Okay.
But it'll be nice and clean and we won't have issues.
So it's gonna be a section 8 building.
No,
Concrete.
why do you have to get all, it doesn't have to look bad.
But it is true, in all the hotels I've been on the balconies, they have the same.
But if the W is section 8, then we're gonna be like the
And
W, I'll take that all day
it's
long.
Sunrise Harbor, it's
It's not,
actually,
it's not a
they have
residence,
it.
All right.
hotel.
It's a.
It's a nice
It's a
hotel.
star hotel.
Come on.
Yeah, nobody-
Sunrise Harbor.
Sunrise Harbor.
Tile inside your,
I mean,
Okay, so we should put tile back and have the building run again, I don't know, right?
No one's allowed to tile now.
No, well,
The water
they've
is
been there for a very long time.
Yeah, I don't care, you go down Miami Beach, there's no tile.
Right, yeah.
all right, so the railings, was that the next part of the thing?
But
Sure.
I
So-
wanted to ask something about the windows. Because I
Side
thought
view.
we
We're gonna do the
jumped-
railings first,
we
then
jumped-
we'll talk about the
Okay,
windows.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So,
Railings.
all right, go ahead.
No,
No, go ahead.
no, we discussed it all. Look, we were originally going with, we were thinking just because of cost, because it is, could be double the amount for glass. Everyone wants, well, everyone told me they want glass, and I don't care either way, I'm for glass, I think it's cool. It's double. All right, so we're gonna be spending a lot of money and double in the whole scheme of things for, what was it, for railings
Who's going to clean the glass?
between 3 and 5.
Who's going to clean the glass?
You
The
are.
people who live in
Well,
the
here's the
suburbs.
situation, that's what I say, but everyone has glass, every hotel, every building owner.
Not true. The
That's not a big deal,
Margaritaville
apparently it doesn't get
Hollywood,
dirty.
That is brand new. The Margaritaville in Hollywood has the same railing we have.
We
So don't
understand
say
that, we
all
don't-
hotels.
No, I'm not saying
That's
all,
a-
but
First class hotel.
I can only say that everyone who came up to me was just like, we're getting glass, right? So I'm like, I don't know, it's a board vote.
Let Nick explain why.
Let's Nick do it.
Nick, explain why.
So we went through a ton of information, so
Yes.
look at over time, what's gonna last the longest, because we're getting money here, it's good money, it's not, it is what it is, it has to go a long way. The powder coated tubular metal construction like we have here now, over time, water damage, sand damage, it pits, it has to be repainted. Glass does not. Glass is gonna be what it is for as long as the building is gonna be here. It's gonna be here probably beyond the concrete rotting. So it just seems to make more sense now to put a little bit of the money we got sideways over into that category, and we're gonna try and juggle with other items. Like Mark had said, not every building. I mean, I live on the north side of this. I got no water in my unit. I don't need new windows in my unit during Irma, and I stayed here. I was in the building. So we're gonna try and do what's best for the building, but from a standpoint of structural integrity and generally what's gonna make our money go the furthest, glass is gonna do that. It's not just aesthetic, it's not gonna need the maintenance that extruded tube, aluminum, powder
That's
coated
a
rails
major
do.
point, I forgot about that.
It's just, so over time, we have to repaint, they're gonna look like hell, they're gonna look like this in another 6 or 8 or 10 or 12 years. And who wants to deal with that again? With no insurance claim possible,
Right.
right? So.
We don't know, I mean.
Safer.
Correct, yeah,
Lots of-
100%.
I have little kids.
And people like, I
People
have
with
dogs,
dogs.
I have
Yeah.
dogs, everybody that had dogs,
That was
dogs,
another-
everybody's got a different little fence underneath, and it looks like, talk about Section 8, I mean, that looks really ghetto, right? I mean, you don't see that in beautiful buildings on the beach. Everybody's got a uniform way to handle their dogs, and it's just a better way to handle a lot of issues that we're trying to deal with.
Anything that's powder coated by the ocean, and that's super high maintenance.
Sure.
Once.
That's what's
Sure,
part of it.
right.
What's
You
the
can't,
drain
there's
on
nothing you can do with it.
Correct, and the repaints never
Yeah,
hold
that
up.
was my question.
What's
The
the-
powder coat stains.
No,
No, what kind of
No,
framing?
the
Post, oh, that's to Nick's credit.
Well,
That was
well,
the
that's
next
the
thing.
post for the glass thing.
There's no post for the glass, there's a channel,
Right.
so there'll be a channel
Oh,
in the
that's right,
balcony
that's right.
with a shoe, like a U channel and a shoe that glass is gonna fit into securely and snugly. And about every 4 feet, there will be a half-inch gap for breathing and just general movement and expansion. So there'll be no metal visible to
And
rot,
that was-
soil,
Yeah, he
pit.
brought, because they were saying, oh, we can go glass and we can have a nice round top, white, whatever.
Why
And
is
then
it
Nick came up with,
shooting
wait, why do
me?
we need any of that? Can we just put an aluminum cap on it?
Because again, there's
And
no,
then
there's
now we have zero
no.
maintenance and it's super
Right.
sleek looking.
Right.
So you got the glass and just a little
Take a
cap
look at the
of,
building behind it.
321 at the end of, 321 at the end of Seville is just putting on, putting on a
Are you
similar.
clear or color or?
Right now, our building is
Clear,
smoked.
we were
Right
thinking.
now, our building is.
They're bringing, in a meeting, they,
He's
talking
gonna
about
bring a
glass.
couple.
I said clear too, I know. They said they're gonna bring in
It's gonna be
samples. to
tinted.
verify.
Yeah, they're gonna bring in
It's gonna
samples.
have a slight tint, but you don't wanna change the watercolor, you don't wanna kill your view. We live here because of the view of the water, right? So it's gonna be appropriate for where we are. It's not gonna be black or gray.
We'll let everyone know.
Right,
Yeah, I was saying clear,
Maybe the
is it any
blue.
dark, is it any more hot than a slight smoke? I don't know.
No.
The green I wasn't a fan of, I don't know if anyone was thinking of that, I'm not really into that blue-green thing, but something a little too early yet, we'll see next week.
Clear, so where you go.
What's
Yeah.
gonna hold the whole thing there without any vertical support?
There's a shoe.
It's a shoe, there's,
The bottom.
yeah, about every,
And that's gonna hold the whole thing.
Correct.
Not to move around.
And then you said aluminum cap.
Yes.
across the
you
top.
can put a cap on it or you cannot put a cap on it.
Yeah, he said that also, you don't have to put a cap on.
You know,
it.
there's some
I would
beautiful
say
buildings
yeah.
around that don't have any on it, it just depends on if you wanna lean on your balcony.
Listen,
or not.
going back to what you originally said, so some of the windows are gonna be replaced?
That's what we're discussing right now,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I have a question for
Sure.
you. That storm came from,
East,
it hit our building on the south side.
South.
Okay.
southeast, this
South-
way.
What I'm saying is anything, here's my concern, which I'm okay with, but is anything on the north side getting replaced? Oh, what I'm saying is the storm came the other way, the people on the south wouldn't have leaked, and the people on the north were the leak.
That's a
the way it's
speculation,
worded.
yes, it would seem like that would be the case.
So
So here's the alternative, okay? So you go from 1 million to replace half the windows
we
to
can't replace any of them.
2.5.
No, to 2.5.
But
But,
there's not gonna be to replace them all?
but just the reality of the logistics too is that even if a storm did come from the north, challenging you, but right, I mean, we have building protection there that's gonna protect that. We don't have anything really on this south side. We have 4 floors here and nothing on the east.
So far,
right?
it's
Are the
It's
windows
the front and
installed
G's.
properly, are the windows wrong? I mean, what's the problem with the windows?
Well, they're only rated to a certain amount. You know, they held in.
They're
that's
not
what they're supposed to
impenetrable,
do.
right,
What they
exactly.
Yeah,
explained
they-
us is
everyone
if
says
this is
it
a
did what it's supposed to
window,
do.
and
Why
there's
replace the window,
hurricane
not
force
just the
wind,
corner
this
down
is
there?
caulking
Well,
around,
that's
so
part
you're
of the
getting
scope
hit,
of
you're
work, to
getting
see if
hit,
we're gonna
you're
take
getting
them
hit.
out,
Well,
rework
caulking
the
event.
That's what
insulation.
happens.
Well, one of the things we're gonna
It's
do
already
is
not
not
that
that
much
much
cheaper than replacing.
Just
Well, I
recaulk
think
it.
it's
Well,
the
that's
bottom.
right, so,
Bring it
That's
down,
a
bring it
game,
down.
Because
it's
you
hard
told
to
me
look
that-
at.
That's the
Well,
only
to
place
begin with.
that water.
Some need that and
This is
some
what we're
need
discussing with them.
reinstallation.
we are gonna,
because
right, we're
of
gonna
the-
replace some and repair others, right?
Some will need, some.
We're gonna visit each apartment, each condo individually.
Correct.
We're gonna go with the contractors, we're gonna go condo by condo, stack by stack, condo by condo, figure out which windows need to be repaired, which windows need to be reinstalled, and which windows need to be replaced. And based on what the professionals say, that's what we're gonna do, but we're gonna make sure that the building is completely sealed.
And why the professional gonna charge what's best for them, not what's best for us. Those windows were
I know
installed
you
to
hate
begin
everything
wrong.
about it,
Condominium.
but you don't want
It should be
contractors.
hired unprofessional.
Professionals,
Not everyone.
that's what is done with the
God, it's like
windows, it's
spiritual.
not the
You can't win.
professionals who getting the job.
What would you suggest we do?
Mark, when you lease the building,
It's not
everything's
perfect,
all
it's
wrong.
so.
That's the last thing.
I don't think we should spend all the money on windows.
That's what I said in the beginning, that is the open figure, the windows.
That's how we fix this problem.
Could we answer her, please?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's what I said about the window, and you told me to wait, but I.
I'm sorry, maybe I-
No, I forgive you, Mario.
Thank you.
But what I'm saying is that I agree with the board that we should look at the windows that are broken and the windows that are in good shape, because, you know, it saves us a lot of money. And number 2, I wanna say that I was one of the few to allow
Yes.
that I sacrificed myself for a long time.
Yes, you did.
So all of you could have a true assessment on the windows. So I know what you've been through. I have to go to a hotel, and I did it for the sake of the board who needed some people to
Test
you
it.
know.
To do the testing.
Test the water testing and
Okay?
pressure
To
testing is what she's
testing.
talking
So
about.
only 10, I think it was 10 only.
It was, no, how many residents? No, it was like.
I think we did 5 tests. 5
Four,
more tests.
yeah, 4 or 5, yeah.
No, what I'm
Context.
saying is, in terms of the amount of people, so I was one of the few who agreed to be sacrificed, and it was not easy, okay? So I agree with the board that, you know, windows that need to be replaced, and windows that are.
And whatever we can repair, right,
Right.
that's go over
It's
and
just probably
But I
caulking.
understand one thing, excuse me.
Yeah.
that's part of the thing. You know, whether they have to chip it out and re-caulk underneath,
Right.
I'm not a window guy, but
Right.
that's what we're honing in right now.
Yeah.
From a big number of, let's take all the windows out and put them back in, to now, okay, let's really see what we need.
Also, to what Nick said, can I add to Nick? So the next hurricane that comes, we have insurance. Whatever happens then is covered by that. We don't need to put.
Understood, but right, we have, you know, insurance in general will be difficult now, we have a huge claim, right? You know how the insurance industry is, it is what it is, we have that mark now,
But we
so.
signed,
That doesn't mean we're not gonna get,
20%.
you know, but yeah, it is what it is now, right?
Insurance in
Like when
general,
you
we're
have a car
not,
accident.
we're not the best client.
But,
Let's face it.
Mario-
Well, the problem is not that we had a claim, the problem is that we had open claims. When we had
A lot.
Correct.
Open claims, it's kind of up in the air, so then our rate went up very high. If we would've had closed claims, it didn't
Then
matter
you
how
tried,
much
it
our
would've been
claims
cheaper,
were,
yeah.
it would've been a lot cheaper, but because we have 2 open claims.
Question, going back to those windows were a nightmare from day one they were installed. Because they weren't corked and installed right. There's nothing wrong with the frames, nothing wrong with the windows, so why even
Now,
think of
here's-
replacing those?
That's not
You
true.
gotta
That's
That's not
actually
true.
not true, because when the windows were installed, like for example.
Are they bent?
Hold on, yes. If
They're
you
bent.
look, if you
Okay.
look at, if you look at my
Okay, now the
pocket,
window frames are bent.
if you look at the pocket, like for example, in my apartment, and it's not the worst of all of them, if you look at the pocket of 3 windows, this window on this side was shoved in crooked because the frame wasn't installed right. And you're seeing that in quite a few of the apartments. That's actually not true.
I
We
do
had
have
a
the same- I do have the
company
same thing on the
Everybody
website.
in this building knows what that company really was. They were not an window installation company.
But that's-
Okay,
All right,
so
we'll get past
now
that.
we
Is
will
the
move forward.
installation is not the frame.
And the windows were damaged. Windows were
So
damaged
the
because
windows
water was
get
coming through the
damaged
window.
because of that.
The ones we
So
tested.
those that are damaged.
But
will
that is
be
one of the
replaced.
options, just so you know.
Yeah.
Some don't need any repair.
Some are
They just
okay.
need to be reinstalled properly.
Recall.
So that is
Correct,
some
right.
of the reports, some of the windows are gonna get only that, just to be reinstalled properly.
But Bob,
You're
some
right. in some
have
of
to
the
be
windows.
fixed, some really have.
Yeah, some need repairs, some need replacement.
I would like to see
And I
how they
believe-
should be replaced and the reason why they have to be replaced. Can you show me one?
Yes.
Did all that.
Yeah, sure. I would
No,
like to
no,
see
no.
one.
If you wanna go look at the video.
The window
No,
itself.
no, I
The
want to
windows
see
have all
one
that.
basic to see why it has to be
What's
replaced
that?
the frame. What's wrong? What
The
went
window's
wrong?
not
Bob, I
broken, why
was in
does
an
it have to be-
apartment
Because
on
there's
ninth
seals
floor
that-
during
that
Hurricane with
flex
Mark.
and go back to
Every
that, and now
time
you
we
broke the
locked
seal
windows
of
and doors
being
in that
hurricane
apartment,
proof.
locked,
That's the-
I mean,
Yeah,
locked.
there
There's
are
a ton of
some
pressure.
windows, there are some windows that
Square
actually
foot.
leak through
The
the
glass that-
exterior of the frame.
That's
If
another-
it's installed correctly. So that, those
Those
need to
frames
be.
got bent
It's
or
not, it's not a whole lot of that, it's a handful of each.
We have problems in our apartment, they're lifting the windows from day one. You need a crane to get them open and close.
Yeah.
It's poor
That's another
installation.
issue that
It has
we're
nothing to do with
addressing,
the
is
frame
just
or
if it's
anything else.
hardware, we're just gonna replace the springs and all that.
Though
Right.
that will also be addressed, so everybody will have to get
Another-
a list of the springs and whatever that they see.
Yeah,
that will do
like,
that.
no window's gonna be left like ignored, you know?
No
They're
window's
gonna
left
be
open.
repaired, we just don't wanna do more work
Then you
than
have
needs
to.
to be done.
And we
That's
are
all, but they're all gonna
replacing
be in working condition, all of
the
them.
screws. I know we have to do that.
Yeah,
We
some
discussed that.
screws are
If you ever look at
gone
the
out.
screws, that they're rusted,
Yeah, the screws.
that's
they
gonna be
will
replaced. They
install
take them out, and they put new ones in, caulk it, and done. So we're gonna leave it to the window guys to figure out the best
Is
way.
there
and
an
we keep them in
estimate
check.
already for this, not the windows, the
Sliding door.
railings?
What about?
Is there estimate already, how much
Between
it's
3
gonna
and
cost?
5.
We're
Between-
working on it right
yeah.
now, because we just changed from
We
a
changed
sturdy
what we're
tube to
doing,
maybe
right?
glass, so they're repricing everything now,
Do you have a rough
We know-
number, what everything's gonna cost, just a rough idea?
On, absolutely.
And
Yeah, from the $13 million claim? Yeah, what was it? I don't remember.
What we have right
Disregarded that
now is
number.
so awful, we're talking about, I don't know what it was. Because it's separated.
Yeah, I
Well,
remember
we're
the
talking-
windows were 2.5.
But you were talking about
Windows,
replacing.
two and a half.
replacing every window.
Right.
Half a million for the balconies, and the
Right.
concrete restoration was like 3 million.
Yep. and 3
So it's like
million.
6 million.
But those.
But that is
That's
like,
not bad.
that's a number that was thrown to the
So it's
insurance.
6, so
They may
roughly,
not
they
be.
need to do it for 4, roughly?
Probably less, I mean, we're shooting for under.
So you're thinking
But-
maybe
The
the one
numbers are
assessment
right,
for a
6
million,
million,
maybe if
only
that?
3 million were
That's a goal. The goal
That's
is
the goal.
for
That's
us to
about
go
the
to
goal.
million.
That's
So I
That's
remember-
about the goal.
So if you got $1 million assessment,
Well, I remember the million, when we were talking,
You're gonna help with the cost.
we never said we were gonna do it, but this was when we had the concrete restoration before the storm hit. We said about $1.5 million, that's what it came in, to just do concrete restoration. And that was like 16,000 for an A and 6,000 for a J, or 5,000 for a J. That was at 1.5.
that's a 1.5, so if you come in at 1, it's gonna be less.
Obviously. But, you know, there's no assessment yet, because we still gotta fine tune the numbers. And the engineer is the first one to say, we're gonna say,
Assessment?
why are you saying $1
What are
million?
you talking about?
This guy's this, it should be 750, you know, that type of thing.
If there's an
We don't have-
assessment,
so
we
that's
gotta
your goal?
make it that it's due to the storm,
What?
the assessment, because then, your homeowner's insurance will pick up 2,000.
All right, yes, for sure.
You gotta say it's from the storm.
Well, it is from the storm, it's just we didn't get a payout as much as we wanted, we didn't wanna pursue it anymore. We were done. Yeah, we were done.
So it's a state law that if there's a hurricane, your homeowners has to pay 2,000.
Okay, so that's what we'll do, yeah.
Okay, the worst thing on the building is the Comcast channels.
Yes, we got it. We're-
Yeah, that all
It's
goes
on
into
there,
the concrete.
trust me, I hate it, it's on there.
Who's doing it, Comcast or?
Getting Comcast to return phone calls is extremely difficult.
Comcast is not gonna do anything because the
I'm
board in its
surprised. They
wisdom
just don't
that
wanna return phone
approved them
calls.
to come in here did not put in that they had to remove it after. So it comes under the concrete restoration.
So, but with our contract, they had 6 months to, if they wanted it, they could remove it, because we're not with them anymore. So there's no mobile contract with Comcast, technically it's ours. So we can do what we want with it. once
So the
we're-
people who have Comcast will have to get them to come and wire for their apartments because we have to take all of that ugly rotted crap down.
And I spoke to Comcast and I told them that some people have Comcast here to see if they will be willing to come in and do something with the cables themselves without losing the clients that they have in the building, you know? But they're just,
They're not doing it.
oh, we'll be there in 2 weeks, and then you call back 2.5 weeks later, they're like, oh, we cleared your account because we didn't know if you wanted us to come out here.
They play the same games they've played.
We
just
should-
And that's been going on for over a
For
year.
having to take it down, we should send them a bill.
No, it's just ours, it's just ours, yeah.
Yeah, but it
That's
wasn't
their
written
problem.
We
into
could,
the
we would, but
contract.
they're not responsible.
Yeah.
They're not
We send them.
responsible for it.
Yeah.
It was not
Did
written
you
into
talk to
the
the
You know-
lawyer and all that about it?
Yeah, we had them review the contract and everything,
Yeah, that was all part of what we did up to the
My
time.
cable from optical tel is broken since the hurricane. They came out and out and out, I got so fed
Still
up.
isn't
What you need, you know
I
what you.
went back to Comcast.
It's true.
I know you have
No
Comcast, yeah, you have
optical.
Comcast.
Because optical tells that their cable was not by them, it was by the contractor, and they won't give
Oh, it was,
me.
All right,
they were running the
see, that
wires.
type of stuff is just, it's not true. You might have said that, but it's not true. So you just gotta, again, if anyone has a problem that they can't fix with Optical, you call Mario and we get the rep on the phone within 2 hours. And it's done, it gets taken care
And
of.
there's a bunch of people in the East Act. Bruce Wagner is one, so is.
So why aren't they asking at a normal time, the manager, Mario, can you call T at Opticatel and say X?
Anything that we called her on, they fixed. They
Yeah.
fixed. It was
A
just
guy
like a
came to me
non-issue.
and told me the same thing, I went
Except
to
for your
the
dish
office with him, filled out the
It's
form,
working,
and
yes,
he
it
has
is.
it. They come, you
The
call them,
question
they
is, why
come.
should have all those problems there after a
They
year?
came
Council
every
every day.
We don't have it, she does just
I
Comcast for
understand,
7
when
months
you
already.
have that problem, they have a supervisor, if we call the supervisor and we say, Erica has had them, every
Erica,
supervisor.
All right, so at any rate, that's what we're doing with the conduit. For as far as we know, is once we go around the building and they set up the scaffolding, it's coming down.
Right.
Yeah.
Done, coming
In
down.
the
And we'll
back.
look- and there's gonna, and after it's done, we are skin coating it, so we shouldn't be able to see, like you see now, all the concrete restoration around the windows. It's gonna be skin coated, it should be really nice looking.
Okay, can management get the optical tel?
In the back.
They said,
All right,
just stop
okay.
in and they'll call.
Hold on, go ahead.
Can we take that issue sidebar?
I got hurricane
It's
service
just-
on my unit 15F,
Right.
just to have one of those.
Well, we're discussing it, usually, from what I know,
Too.
it's, we take it off and you have to put it back, that's what I know, but we'll work something out, I don't know how many people.
No,
I think that's like kind of the,
What is
yeah.
this you're talking about?
Only because I know that's what happens in other buildings, if you have hurricane shutters, we have to take it off to do whatever you have to
can't,
do.
I know from prior that you can't make a.
I'm not making a decision like that,
I spent
because I
like
don't.
$5,000 putting them up.
Yeah, easy. I haven't done.
I mean, it's something we gotta discuss, yeah.
We have to
I don't know, we'll
discuss it
be.
You want me to put them up, or am I scaffolding to put them up?
Right. Why do you wanna put them up?
That's just something, that's just something I'm just.
Yeah, for sure, I know we have that, I don't know how many
Jim
people
is
have, I
asking a
know,
question in the back and you're totally ignoring him.
I'm gonna get him, I see him, I'm trying to finish this.
There's only like 4 years.
Because he's so loud back there.
Jim, come and sit in front.
Squeaky wheel, go ahead.
Are we having a special assessment?
No, the thing is, as we were all discussing right now, there is nothing that's been said yet because we don't have the final number.
But we don't know. The answer is
We're not
we
gonna
don't
say
know
no,
yet.
but there's a lot that we need to get done. Yeah, that's it, that we can, we don't have the final numbers. Until we meet next Tuesday, we'll have a better idea. Well, actually, no, because then they'll go back to re-crunch the numbers and then a
Right.
week later we'll know.
I have a quick question.
I wish I could tell you.
Is everything for the 40-year gonna be done?
Yeah, everything,
Yes.
we should be
Yes.
brand
You know
new.
everything that has to be
That's
done?
good to hand.
I'm sorry, and.
Chance
That's
to-
it.
Sorry.
I'm curious, I keep driving up and down the beach and you see the Embassy Tower and the Berkeley. Both have been doing their 40-year restoration now for quite a few months. Are any of those people that they're working with on our list so we could get a reference or see how
Well, we've
how
gotten a
it's
few
going with
references
them?
already, and we've,
From-
that's how we got rid of some of the people that we were with.
Yeah,
Okay.
Nick went
Correct,
and looked
right.
at the work.
I went up and down
A1.
A1 and we had a list, we had 4 or 5 large concrete restoration companies. You have to understand, the scope of the work here isn't gonna be just you know, company 1 is gonna do concrete, company 2 is gonna do banisters, company 3 is gonna do windows, because you'd be putting up and down scaffold 40 times and our check would go to just scaffolding, right? So it's gonna be a huge GC company that's gonna do all those disciplines at that one time. So the 4 or 5 companies submitted, we reviewed everything, they gave us buildings, places. I've gone personally, because it's part of what I do, I have a design build firm. So I went up and down in the north part, and there were 2 or 3 buildings that one company in particular had, and I told Mary I didn't really love the way the stucco work looked. He said, let me call. One of them happened to be a castle property that he talked to. They had an issue with the interpersonal relationship with the owners in the building, the concrete restoration company. They weren't happy with the work, they underbid, overcharged. So there's a lot of work behind the scenes we're doing. Yeah.
But those 2 huge buildings are in the same situation we're in by size. So that's why I'm saying,
By
it's
age.
very.
Sure, that's what I'm saying. The ones they gave us to look at also,
Big buildings.
Shore Club, right up, just right up on the west side. You just get up.
Just on
Right past the
Sunrise.
park.
Yeah, just exactly right. Yeah, Shore Club. There was 1 or 2 other ones too. So, you know,
How long do you think this whole process is gonna be? About a
We have
year?
a complete plan here.
They initially, the number they threw out at us was 18 months.
18 months.
Well, you're at
That's a
school.
nasty
I'm
job.
trying to
But that, you know, that's from also, you know, you also,
I mean,
before
when
that,
we
you
did the
gotta
hurricane,
file
how
with,
long
you
was
gotta
that?
file with the city, you gotta pay the city.
Never ending.
You know,
It was
so.
never ending.
Yeah.
However-
This nasty noise.
It's gonna be nasty.
And
It's not gonna be fun.
However,
corner of the
I believe it was also discussed that there will be a limit put on how long the job will
If
take.
they
Yeah.
go over, they pay a fine.
Correct.
Exactly.
Exactly. There'll be
A
performance,
limit that
there'll
will
be
be
performance
agreed
agreements
by
in there,
the
correct?
contractor chosen and by us.
Yeah.
The same agreement we have with the roofers.
Yeah, but if they find something extra, I don't want it to rush through it. I don't
From what
think-
our
certain
engineers
things you don't
said-
rush.
Well, we have a project, sorry, Mark,
That's right.
yeah, we have a project manager that sends an inspector daily. So they'll be looking to make sure that every single day they're doing the job right.
Good.
And they're not
Good
skipping
work.
any steps and they're
It's a big
not
help.
covering
I mean,
anything
he
up.
gets paid, but it's a big help.
Is any of them posting performance bound, so we don't get stuck like the windows? They're here today and gone tomorrow?
Yeah.
No, these are huge. We don't get into that.
Well, they're used,
But
they have
these
to
are
bounce,
huge-
supposed to
Yeah,
bounce.
these are huge.
Juice
GCs.
companies.
Yeah, these are huge GCs. I don't know what the window company was. What was that?
You know what it
The
was.
window
I know, I don't want
company
to get
did
into it.
consolidated into windows.
defamation
They didn't
suit.
exist
Yeah,
until
right.
they did the windows and they
I
didn't exist to
understand,
be
but whether it's a
out.
big or small has to have performance bound.
Yeah.
They go broke tomorrow, who's gonna take care of the problem? The
Exactly.
big companies go broke every day.
But there should, I mean, to your question, if I could just,
I'm not sure
I mean,
what the
that,
issue
you know,
is.
one of the reasons
So-
a lot of that money that Bob was saying before, you know, where did all that money go? A lot of that went to the companies that did all that, you know, sort of R&D, if you will, in time, and tapping on balconies and looking at rebar and estimating, you know, the age of the building, what was going on with the rebar, what was gonna be an issue performance-wise. So there shouldn't be any huge surprises as this goes on, you know?
As we went through it, they said that they calculate anything for the most part that can happen.
And they've
while they're doing
calculated,
it.
right, they've
So you can
calculated
do
on the
amendments to the
head
bids when
Well,
you
they-
start
they-
finding
they-
something.
They figure, I mean, if they figure, oh, it could be, they figure, they cover their butt.
Yes, they're,
Yeah,
from
that's
what the
what
engineers
it
are
is.
just doing.
For sure, exactly, like,
If they're gonna
right.
think it's gonna be
Right,
that bad, they're gonna
right.
figure that bad,
Yeah.
and if it's better, it's gonna be their benefit.
Yeah,
Sure.
But to what Bob was saying,
Yeah. If they go out of business.
just say, for example, tomorrow morning they go out of business and we screw. Do they post a performance bond? Do they post a bond?
We can find out. We'll ask Saeed.
I would say yes, but I'm not sure.
Well, that's how you do
Yeah,
it.
we should. Hold the bond.
That's cool.
Yeah, let's ask Said, because I
Because
think that's.
I know
a
that
good idea.
Pritz had to,
I think that's a
Yeah, I
good
think it's
idea.
worth it.
Pritz had to do it, the roofers, and they go through the same engineer. So because it's on his paperwork, that they're required this document, and I know Pritz has it. So I'm pretty sure he's requested it from the other contractors. If he has the roofers, he's gonna ask.
Because the engineer's not gonna wanna deal with that unwinding and then him being at the center of that.
Right.
Saeed's not gonna want.
No, he's not gonna want it.
He's so,